guys, welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about my Graves' disease journey. I'm so excited to be sharing it with you. I know it's definitely not talked about enough online, so that is why I decided to start this channel. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe because I'm going to be doing new videos every single week and I don't want you to miss out on any awesome content. And also, if you would like to learn more about my Graves' disease journey, check out this video here. It just gives a bit more insight into what it's been like for me over the last 8 or so years. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. This channel is purely just to share my own journey, what it's been like, share with you things that have helped me, and just build connections with other people going through similar things. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what my surgery was like in getting a total thyroidectomy. So I've got my scar here, what it was like, what the process was like, and I guess I'll share a little bit at the end as well what the last 6 months have looked like since having my surgery, how it sort of affected my body and all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't watched last week's video, I'll pop it up here and make sure you watch that one first because it gives a bit of an insight into why I actually decided to have a total thyroidectomy after several years after my diagnosis, and yeah, just like my thought patterns behind that decision. So I was lucky enough to have my surgery in a really awesome hospital. I had a really amazing surgeon do it, and I all went through the Australian public system as well, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. I was so grateful for the whole experience. Yeah, I cannot believe how amazing our Australian public health system is. It just blows me away with how good it was. So I was booked in for surgery in March the 20th, I think it was. And I was booked in like, you know, probably about six to 8 weeks before I'd had like all my pre-op appointments, and they were like, okay, this is the day it's going to happen. And kind of within those 6 weeks, a lot of stuff went down in the world. The main one being COVID. So everything was all fine and dandy and normal when I was having all my pre-op appointments. And then as soon as it was probably like within the week before my surgery, things started to go downhill very quickly with COVID. There was a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, there was a lot of like information. It was all over the news and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening with my surgery. Me being an absolute nervous wreck, I was absolutely petrified of getting surgery anyway. But I tried my hardest just to trust that everything was going to work out, and I was just trying to go with the flow and not stress about it too much. But yeah, I remember my mum saying, oh, well, maybe they're going to cancel your surgery. And I was like, oh, I'll just see what happens. And it got until the day before my surgery and everything seemed like it was going to be going ahead. So I was like, okay, great. Like everything's happening. Everything's going as per normal. And that day before my surgery, I got a call saying my surgeon had to go home sick because I think she had a tickle in her throat, and they were taking absolutely every single precaution just in case she had COVID. Yeah, so basically your surgery isn't on anymore, and then obviously that was just like crazy for me because I felt like I'd kind of psyched myself up for it and it wasn't happening, and COVID was happening, and when would I actually get to have my surgery and all this kind of stuff, and I was taking this special medication on the lead up, and yeah, it was just crazy. So that was pretty scary actually, because I just didn't know what was happening. And then about an hour or so later, the hospital called back and said one of the other surgeons has said that they can come in and take their place. Do you want to still get it done? And I was just like, I don't know what to do, because obviously I'd already come to terms with who was doing my surgery, and I just decided to go for it. He was an incredible surgeon. I'm so glad that I decided to go for it, but that was pretty scary. I just didn't really know what was going on. Things were just changing really quickly, but it was fine. It's all good. So yeah, on the day of my surgery, I didn't really sleep very much. I was very nervous, but I went in anyway. The whole thing was very new to me. I'd never really been into hospital before. I'd only visited 1 or 2 people in hospital before, so it was all a very new experience for me. It was pretty triggering. I did definitely cry a lot going into it, which I think is probably pretty normal because it's a bit of a scary experience. But I just really tried to practice gratitude. So yeah, every single person who helped me, whether it was getting me some water or anything that was in hospital, I would just make sure that I said thank you, keep thinking all these positive things over and over in my mind, that I was just so grateful that I was here and this was happening and I was in such good care. And I honestly, it made the world of difference. It was actually incredible, to the point where once I was actually out of surgery and kind of it was done and I knew it was done and everything was okay, from then on, like my time in hospital, it was actually, I don't want to say it was enjoyable, because I would have preferred to have not been there, but it was okay. And it wasn't, the whole experience really wasn't that bad, because yeah, I just purely went in with complete intention to just be grateful to everyone who took care of me. But yeah, that was honestly like life-changing. So good. But yeah, it was fine. The whole experience was quite fine, and I got to go home the next day. Everything went pretty good. I did get a fever while I was under, and they were a little bit concerned about that, but it was all completely fine. Went home, you know, by 12 p.m. the next day, and yeah, everything was all good. The whole surgery went really well, and I just tried to enjoy as much as I could, I guess. So when I was in like my pre-op appointments and all that kind of stuff, I didn't really ask too many questions regarding the surgery because I was so anxious and I really didn't want to psych myself out. I just wanted like the stuff that I needed to know. I didn't want to know stuff that I didn't need to know. I was just like, it's happening. I don't want to know about this stuff. If it's not super important, I don't want to know about it, which was good, because I went into surgery actually thinking that the procedure was a lot less of a big deal than it actually was, which is kind of good, but then at the same time it was kind of bad, because once I'd got out of hospital, I actually realized that it was a little bit more intense than I'd first imagined, but I am still glad that I kind of did that. So yeah, when I got out of hospital, and definitely not trying to scare anyone off, it was totally fine, and if I can do it, you can do it too if you are thinking about getting surgery. Like, I don't want to put you off at all, because it was totally fine. It is scary, but it was fine. After I got out of surgery, I was basically told like a week recovery time in my pre-op appointments, and I was like, oh, okay, that's not really a big deal at all. But yeah, no, it took a lot longer than that. And I couldn't even really move my neck that much for probably like 2 to 3 weeks. And I didn't even feel comfortable driving for probably at least 2 to 3 weeks, because I couldn't turn my head. And yeah, I was just kind of like sent home from the hospital after my surgery, and with the post-op appointment being scheduled a few days later. But once I'd left for surgery, like that, before my surgery, the COVID, like that was all coming into play. But as soon as I'd left my surgery and gone home, things just went chaos in Australia with it. So my appointment got pushed back, which was totally fine because they needed all the staff to just do training and prep for COVID and what was happening. So I was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. But I wasn't actually able to get back into the hospital for 7 weeks. Yeah, so that was a bit of a scary experience, not having that post-op appointment for such a long time after my surgery. I didn't really know if things were going okay. I didn't have any like bad things happen. I just wasn't sure because I'd kind of been told that it was a shorter healing time, a recovery time. And I was just like, oh, like I'm experiencing so much. Yeah, so that was a little bit scary. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really have anyone to like turn to with all that sort of stuff, but it was totally fine. I got through it. And as soon as I did go back to my post-op appointment, she said everything was fine, everything looks really good, and everything I was experiencing was normal and everything is fine. I didn't have any complications, which I'm so grateful for. And yeah, it all worked out really well, and I'm glad that I did it. I know that it was the right choice for me and my situation and where I was in my life at that stage. So a little bit of insight into what's normal and what you can kind of expect post-surgery. It can actually take about 6 to 12 months to like fully recover from it, which I was just completely unaware of. I had no idea. I'm 6 months post-operation and I still have some like tightness in my neck. Sometimes I have not difficulty swallowing, but it feels quite tight still. It's all like loosening up. I know that everything's fine because it's slowly getting better, but it just does take that time. So yeah, just kind of be prepped for that. Not that it's bad, it's just, I guess it can be a little bit scary because people don't really talk about it. And honestly, if you're going to get surgery, I'd probably allow at least like 3 weeks sort of off work, even a month if you can. Just give yourself that space to just recover because it is considered a major surgery, which I wasn't aware of. I guess it's so routine these days that it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's no big deal, but it still is a big surgery. So allow yourself that time off if you can. I would highly recommend it. Also, like neck exercises as well. So I was just kind of discharged from the hospital and I didn't know what I needed to kind of do. So once I went back for my post-op appointment, she was like, make sure you're giving your neck a massage and you are stretching it out, because because it was so sore and swollen, I kind of just kept my neck like this for the first 2 to 3 weeks. I didn't really move it too much, but just like moving it up and to the side and all that kind of stuff. And even I'm still doing it now. I get moisturizer and I rub my neck all around, give it a good massage. And also, this is, I don't know if you can see that, Eco by Sonia Driver Glory Oil. This isn't sponsored at all, but that's what I've been using on my scar. I just do like 1 drop on there, and honestly, I can't believe how good my scar is looking for 6 months. So how am I feeling 6 months post-op? I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little bit deflated. I actually feel pretty much the same as what I did before I went in. Yeah, I don't really feel that different. I feel better, like before I went in, just kind of when everything was relatively stable, that's how I feel now. So I'm still experiencing low-level anxiety. It's still there like every single day. But I'm working with my naturopath to try and look at different things that could be triggering that. Yeah, this has been something that I've been working on for a long time. So I'm not 100% sure whether it's Graves related. I still have some antibodies laying around, so maybe once they start to disappear even more, it might calm down a little bit, but I'm still experiencing anxiety. I've still been experiencing some minor heart palpitations. I just kind of get them randomly. I don't get a lot of them, but they're still kind of there sometimes. And yeah, I still kind of feel a little bit on edge. Like I said, I just kind of feel the same, which is really annoying, but anyway, it is what it is. And I'm also experiencing at the moment like hypothyroid symptoms as well, which is awesome. So I'm getting a little bit of mixture of both at the moment, so I'm in a little bit of a weird space. I am in the process of getting my medication to be in the right range. I've been feeling quite fatigued lately as well. But yeah, other than that, I feel fine. There's like nothing crazy going on. Like I feel like I really can't complain about anything. And you know, I'm doing the best that I can. So that's kind of an update. I'm just getting used to living without a thyroid, and it's to be expected that it's going to take a bit of time for everything to settle down. So yeah, just taking things slow living. It's what I live for these days, and just giving myself, my body, what it needs, the space it needs. But yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. If you are thinking about getting surgery and you want to learn a bit more about what my experience was like, just reach out. I'd love to connect with you and share a little bit of my insights and all that kind of stuff, because even though maybe it sounded a little bit scary, it was actually quite fine. And yeah, I turned it into more of a positive experience. And yeah, I guess what I want to say is it is a major surgery, so be kind with yourself and be okay with feeling those emotions, whatever you need to feel. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous about it. It's not some little thing. It's quite a big operation. But then at the same time, it's very routine. The doctors are amazing these days. Just having that trust that things are gonna work out. Hope this video was helpful, and I will see you again next week. See ya.